Hello and welcome to Absolute Bad Taste Tier List. Throughout my life, I have been told that I am prone to a bad take every now and then. If I had an opinion gun, you'd be surprised to see that oftentimes I cannot hit the broad side of rational thought with my opinion gun because I just don't stop talking. So you think at some point I'd be right. However, I have a smooth brain, a brain so smooth that I should hire someone every single night to drive a Zamboni on it just so it doesn't have any friction when the thoughts are up there dancing. With these tier lists, I wanted to determine whether or not, with the court of public opinion of course, whether or not I was absolutely definitively wrong, or if maybe, just maybe, I'm not like the worst when it comes to brain bad stuff. With that in mind, I wanted to start with a control group tier list, something simple, something easy, nothing cheesy, nothing greasy, something that'll make you go, hey, that's simple, or hey, I eat that. Today we're going to talk about fruit. With this fruit tier list, I have segmented the sections into S, A, B, C, D, F. Very simple letters. I was going to say numbers. It's not numbers, it's letters. You could go through like 1 through 6 if you wanted to. But there's also another tier, which is I don't know what this is and I'm afraid of it. It scares me. I don't know what these fruit are, except for the yellow apple, which I removed because I've never eaten it. I've never eaten a yellow apple. Never. I have no opinion on yellow apples, which would be surprising because you think I would have an opinion for literally everything. But yellow apples, I'm not going to eat a yellow apple. Maybe it's good. I don't know. Are yellow apples good? We'll start with something simple, an easy pick from this roulette wheel of fleshy fruit. Strawberries are gonna go at F. And before you freak out, before you start typing on your keyboards or mashing your keys with hammers, breaking your computer screen or hitting the unsubscribe button so hard that you accidentally subscribe to Markiplier instead, I'm allergic to strawberries. It's that easy. I don't mind them really, but they make me break out in hives. So they're really only an F because for me, they're poison. That's poison. That's Brendan poison. You wouldn't feed your dog chocolate. Don't feed me strawberries. Next, another easy pick. Raspberries will go into D. Now, raspberries just aren't my thing. I don't really like them. I don't hate them. D is still a passing grade if we were going to consider this YouTube homework in a way. Well, except for the S, because if you had a teacher that gave you like an S on a test, they'd probably play way too much Devil May Cry. And honestly, if I had a teacher like that, I would probably be a doctor or a veterinarian or an astronaut or a manager at Best Buy. Instead, I'm online. And I mean, I like being online, it's fine. Doctors make a lot more money though. But they gotta get in the goo, don't they? Anyway, raspberries are, they're fine. They are very acceptable flesh fruit. I just don't want to put them into my gaping maw too often. If I walk into someone's house and they have a bowl of crisp, fresh raspberries picked from the orchard behind their home, I would first say, why am I in somebody's house? Why am I in your house? Why am I in somebody's house? Somebody who owns like a raspberry orchard. Why are these raspberries growing on trees? Do raspberries grow on trees? I don't have enough information. But the second thing I would say is, yeah, maybe I'd grab 1 or 2 and pop them right into my mouth and squish them oh so delicately between my rotted teeth. I'd be like, that's okay, that's fine, whatever. Next we have cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is a C. When I get a delicious fruit medley, I always relish getting a piece of cantaloupe in there and popping her up in there and just eating her up in there. And I shouldn't say eating her up in there. I now realize that sounds like a much worse thing than what I originally said, but we're kind of just on a roll here tonight, so let's keep going. Cantaloupe is fine. I'm not big into it fresh, but I do love it when it's mixed with other fruits and soaks up their juices oh so nicely. And C is really middle of the line. I would eat it if it's in front of me. I would buy it every once in a while, but I'm not gonna go out to the store like a cantaloupe fiend, eating delicious rinded fruit before the Walmart employees are able to stop me. I would just have them, have a big yum, Our next fruit is quite simple. I was pondering and wondering, what if I considered just a little bit, not just the fruit themselves, but the flavor and the essence of the fruit, to make sure that I was giving a fair and accurate judgment. I pride myself on thinking that I could be just like those guys who stand on the outside of Final Fantasy Tactics, the judges. Those guys are awesome. I want to be like that guy, but I can't be like that guy because I'm not cool enough or awesome enough, and I don't have money for expensive armor. Instead, I have to make an opinionated guess at how I feel about this next fruit, and it is very simple. It goes in F. I'm not going to eat a lime. I like lemon lime. Fair, valid, 100%. Right in there. Gimme lemon, gimme lime, give them both together, slap them up there. But just lemon by itself is not something that I really want to put on my brain shelf. Or honestly, tongue shelf would have worked better there, or palate shelf would have worked better there if my mouth was a grocery store of taste. But it's not. It's more like a weird gas station in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And nobody stops there. And the people who do stop there often regret stopping there because they pick up a hot dog that gives them dysentery. The next fruit is so incredibly easy for me that I could just slop it right up at B with no remorse whatsoever. I love a good orange. I love a good orange juice. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I get that craving every once in a while, and more frequently than I would cantaloupe. I get that craving and I want to munch and crunch and juice that citrus until it can't be juiced anymore. I remember when I was a kid, I would cut up an orange and I'd put a little slice in my mouth and I'd run around yelling that I have orange mouth. And I wasn't a really popular or funny kid, which goes to show that I'm not really that much of a popular or funny guy now. I just try really hard and sometimes it works. If that's not an accurate summation of my entire life, then I don't know what is. Our next fruit is going to be a two-parter. Green apples and red apples, which I would put at S if only for the fact that Red Delicious exists. I love a Red Delicious, and I love a Honeycrisp apple. A Honeycrisp apple, I think, is usually red. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna Google that real quick. Give me a second. A Honeycrisp apple is indeed red and one of my favorite fruits of all time. When I was a kid, I went to the grocery store with my grandfather and I saw they were selling grapples, which were a fusion of grape and apple, and I still regret that feeling that I have right now, that feeling that I never bought or ate those grapples. But at the end of the day, which is a phrase that I say quite often to punctuate the end of a very long drawn-out sentence, I'll eat a Honeycrisp any day of the week, any second. You get me a big barrel of those boys and I will bust right through them. I think this next fruit is a nectarine, or it's, I think. I'm just gonna put it at F, because I don't really, I don't think it's a peach. I think the peach is later on this list, but is it nectarine or a tangerine? I don't have a lot of fruit knowledge, and that's why I did this, to show you that I am incompetent at trying to be competent even. I don't really like, if it is a nectarine, which I think it is, I don't really like them. Like, the seed is too big, which is a weird thing. The seed is too big, all right? It's just too big, okay? The seed is too big. Now we have Minion's favorite treat, and I died inside saying that, but I'm still gonna put bananas at S. I love potassium, and for you Deltarune fans out there, I am so excited for you that you can be so delighted by the addition of a simple banana. I like a good banana, though. I like a good bushel. Maybe a baker's dozen of bananas, a series of bananas, a sequence of bananas. I love bananas. I like peeling them. Sometimes I like to bite into it just to freak out my wife and she gets really mad at me, which, by the way, me having a wife isn't a bit. I'm actually married. Sometimes I have to reiterate that I'm married and I have a wife and I'm making a fruit tier list because people legitimately think me having a wife is a bit. It's not. I love my wife. She's great. How about the hearty coconut? Well, if we're including taste or essence, coconut goes up to B. If we're thinking about coconut candies, coconut milk, I'm not really somebody who imbibes upon the flesh the decadence of the coconut itself, but I really do like coconut-flavored things. I like coconut shavings, coconut chocolate. I like to buy Almond Joys, and I'll take the almonds off of the Almond Joy and lick the chocolate off of them and then throw them away. And then eat the rest of the Almond Joy like it was a Mounds. Which, I mean, probably like a really weird thing now that I'm thinking about it. But I still do it regardless. And Brendaniel, Brendaniel, how do you feel about cherries? Well, cherries themselves, I'm kind of I hate cordial cherries, which is a type of candy, but I do love cherry-flavored things, which makes me put it up to A. Cherry flavoring and cherry-flavored items and things with cherries in them, or even a delicious cherry on top of a wonderful sundae. Eating a sundae on a Monday every single Monday is a delicious little treat. I love a maraschino cherry. I love cherry-flavored things. Straight cherries, however, not really my cup of cherry tea, but I still must put them at A because they are amazing. And grapefruit. Brendan, how do we feel about grapefruit? Well, I'm putting it at F because I'm still thinking about the grapefruit video from a very, very long time ago. If I can give you an indication of what I'm thinking about, I will soon make a sound and you'll know what I'm talking about. And how do you do the honeydew? How do I do the honeydew? I would do the honeydew at D. Well, a little bit above raspberry, perhaps, but it is always the piece of melon in the melon fruit medley that makes me feel a little uncomfortable. It always feels like it's soggier, wetter, moister than the other fruit, and it's something that I really don't want to ever go out of my way to eat. Now, much like raspberries, if it is there, I might imbibe, I might indulge, I might investigate the honeydew, but I will not go out on a quest to honeydew the dew. Speaking of doing, blueberries are a wonderful little treat, but I would also put them at D. However, blueberry muffins and blueberry pancakes are things with which exist in this world, so I will have to bump it up to C. Did you know that there are people who have a fetish that is specifically related to the scene in Willy Wonka? And it's called blueberry inflation, where somebody is inflated so nice and big and round that they turn into a giant human blueberry because of Willy Wonka. See, I told you you'd learn things in this video. Just things that you don't want to hear. Now that we've talked about the blue of berry, how about the blackberry? And not the cell phone, you silly idiot. The blackberry fruit will also go at about a D, but right above honeydew, because it kind of has that same feeling of, I will not eat this, I don't go out of my way to eat it unless it's right there, and I guess I'll just decide to eat it, I'll enjoy it, and the flavor itself is never something that really coalesces properly upon my tongue. The mouthfeel of a blackberry is indeed fine, but it doesn't quite hit the nasty spot that I want it to hit. Now, Brendan, what about New Zealanders? Well, since I don't consume human flesh, I'm assuming that I must be talking about kiwis, which will go to C, mostly for kiwi flavoring. I like things that have a little bit of kiwi in them to kind of spice them up. I feel like I'm a little bit fancier after drinking something with some kiwi in it. I'm almost the talk of the town after sipping on a kiwi watermelon daiquiri. I'm feeling like a kiwi is just a good C. But I almost rarely, if ever, eat the fruit itself. So it's gotta be C, even though I would put the taste up to an A. You hear that bell? You don't hear that bell, because there's not a bell sound effect playing. It's lime time! Put that right next to lemons. Once again, lemon, lime, and the infusion of both flavors. If you gave these fruits the Potara earrings from Dragon Ball, they become a wonderful medley of flavor that I would boost all the way up to S. However, alone, they are so incredibly weak and gross and not my thing. I like sour, but lime-flavored things, lime-flavored drinks. By themselves, I don't think I'm a lime-time kind of guy. Well, you say, Brendan, I haven't seen one of the most popular fruits. I haven't seen something that I think that you really would maybe enjoy. Well, it's watermelon, which I would put easily up to S tier. And I absolutely love watermelon. Watermelon is so good. It's nostalgic for me. It's such a good taste, be it just the taste without the fruit. It is one of my favorite summer treats. I remember so many days I would sit on the back of my grandfather's pickup truck and I would be eating slices of watermelon with my brother and a couple of friends. And nothing, and I say nothing, evokes a powerful summer memory for me like a watermelon does. Now, what about the butt fruit? What about the butt fruit? Brendan, where are you going to put the butt fruit at? Brendan, what about the butt fruit? Brendan, what about the butt fruit? Oh, yeah, peaches. I put peaches at about a B, I'd say. I do enjoy peaches every once in a while, and I like peach-flavored things. You know what? Actually, take that back. I'm going to put that up at A. I don't like how big the nut is. I don't like how big the nut is in it. I don't like how big the nut is in it. But I like peach schnapps. I like peach drinks. I like peach soda. I like peach candy. I like peaches. I don't love peaches, but I like them a lot. I actually am craving one right now during this video, and I bet your mouth is just watering. There is a fire hydrant inside your saliva glands right now looking at these delicious fruit, and I cannot be the one to turn them off. You must step away from the video if you are just not able to stop thinking about how delicious so many of these fruits are. Okay, Brendan, what about the other butt fruit? The other butt fruit? The other butt fruit, Brendan. Oh, okay, Brendan. Pears. I'd put pears at like a D. I like the taste of pears-ish, but they are so mushy, and they're just never satisfying, and they make your teeth feel gritty. How does a fruit make your teeth gritty? Why does a fruit make your teeth gritty? And why, oh why, are they not better? Now, if I was eating like a can of like pear fruit, which I often did as a child, I bump this up a little bit, but I'm just thinking about how uncomfortable my teeth are after biting into a pear. And I'm just putting it at D. It's got to stay there. It's at the D level, and you're not bringing it back up no matter how hard you try. Back in the day, and by back in the day, back in the way back day, there was a guy named Hades, and he tricked somebody into eating a pomegranate, and then they had to live with him. And pomegranates are pretty good. I put it at like a B. I like a good pomegranate. Half of the fun of eating a pomegranate is scooping the seeds out and popping them into your mouth one by one, right? Putting them in your lip and making a false set of teeth out of pomegranate seeds. It's fun, and yeah, maybe I'll go to hell forever, but it's okay, I was baptized. Basically, I have fire insurance. A couple of fruits may be conspicuously missing, but they're not really missing, are they? They're not really gone because no one's ever really gone, and we're talking about grapes. Brendan, where would you put red or purple grapes? I would put them at a strong A above cherries. Grape flavoring, grapes themselves. You know what? Let's just bust this boy all the way up to S. I enjoy nothing more than grabbing a bunch of grapes, sitting on my couch lounging, and then popping them into my mouth, pretending I am a Roman centurion, being loaded about by tons and tons of wonderful servants, giving me my every want and desire, and then I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, wow, you are nothing like a Roman centurion, Brendan. Anyway, grapes. We're gonna do white grapes as well, or the green grapes. The green grapes, white grapes, whatever they're called. I'll put that as a B. I like red grapes or purple grapes more. I don't like grapes with seeds. I like them seedless. And I think this is a fair place for these grapes to be, especially since now I'm thinking about that duck song. You know the duck song. Don't tell me you don't know the duck song. Last but certainly not least is a contentious fruit indeed. And where will I put pineapple? Where will its final place be? Where does pineapple go? It goes at S. And I will say this. Pineapple is okay on pizza. In fact, pineapple is good on pizza. Please unsubscribe from Reddit for a little while. Go outside, maybe touch some grass, come back inside and remember that sweet and savory are an oftentimes loved combination. Now, pineapple itself is also incredibly good. It's a little bit acidic. It kind of eats you as you're eating it, but it's still incredibly delicious. And I am so very thankful for pineapple. But I digress, as many people who often write high school essays do. I digress. I end and let you look upon my fruit tier list. What of these awful, horrible, terrifying fruits at the very bottom should I try? And what ones am I wrong about in the list above? What are your favorite fruits? And don't say, oh, well, I'm my own favorite fruit, because I see what you're doing. You get a little cheeky with it, huh? You're being a little cheeky, huh? Being a little smart, huh? I see. I see what you're doing. Don't say I'm your favorite fruit either, because I see what you're doing. I know what's going on. I'll leave you with this. Do I have absolute bad taste? And where did I go wrong? What started this horrible, horrible descent into awful, unhealthy madness? And am I a worse person for doing this? I don't know. I don't really care. I put fruit in the list. You decide. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos there. Also things, if you want to see more absolute bad taste tier lists, let me know. If you don't want to see any more absolute bad taste tier lists, don't tell me, because I'm very, very fragile. Please subscribe if you want to do that. I'm often streaming on twitch.tv, and I have a Patreon to help me make new videos more gooder. Okay, I'm gonna go eat a bunch of fruit now. I'm just gonna find a cornucopia of fruit and just start indulging.